don't mean anything. Like, and I'm genuinely saying that. Like, don't get me wrong, it's really important to get good grades. You know, you want to achieve. But to me, if you really, really want to do something and you will be willing to sacrifice anything to do it, you will get there. Like, that's it. End of conversation. No piece of paper will say that. So that's my original, my first reaction is just like, well, you don't need A levels. It's great if you've got them. An amazing experience. You will obviously, you know, go through the educational system and work with amazing people and get great, you know, first-hand experience, textbook experience, but nothing can really beat that hands-on approach. So to me, I was just like, no. But then, you know, with Hayley's answer, it's just like, yeah, that's the sensible approach. Is like, if you've got the grades, amazing, well done, congratulations, enjoy yourself, have a whale of a time in Eddie's tonight, you know, celebrate, great. But at the same time, if you didn't get the results, still go to Eddie's, you know, have a dance with your mates, have a few bevies, and go, well, do you know what? I'll be all right.
Yeah, and typically speaking, you will be all right.
Of course you will.
As I just said, actually,
you would not believe my GCSE result. I mean, even to this day, and I think I've told you this before, as a mate, I was like, I still apologize to my teachers now. I'm like, I was so bad in school. Honestly, unless it was like PE, I couldn't do music because I didn't play an instrument. And I was just like, I just want a set of decks. Just let me play some tunes. So I didn't do music, like PE, RE, because it was opinionated. I was all right at that. Yeah. So I was just like, yeah, that's okay. Because it's your opinion. I'll voice my opinion.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. But yeah, that was like, I mean, yeah, like maths and science and just, no, it wasn't for me. No. I just knew I always liked music, and I knew where I was going to go, really. Yeah. But that then in turn, I look back at it and I do feel guilty. There's no two ways around it, because I was disrupting so many people in class, and some of them were like, oh, I'm going to go along with Toby for the ride. And like, you know, next thing we're stuck in Remove together. And I'm thinking, if I wouldn't have done that, they probably wouldn't have been there. But then on the other side of it, I'm kind of like, well, maybe I gave them a bit of confidence and they got to speak up a little bit. So I don't know. There's two sides to it, but
I owe a great lot of my confidence to my mate in school, who was more like you. They were a little bit on the naughty side, and I was a little more on the tame side. Yeah. And yet we were wonderful counterpoints to each other. We've gone in completely different directions since. Yeah. But I still hold that friendship and the confidence he gave me in school very dear. And then, of course, a little bit later down the line, since we picked up our results, you didn't dream that you would be station manager of your own radio show.
It was never on the cards.
Like life is wonderful, regardless of what your results are.
I mean, never in a million years would I think I'd be in this. I mean, I always knew music was my path. I just because I was just so drawn to it, and I had a connection to it, and people could connect through me through music, and I knew that from when I was like such a young age, like maybe 7 or 8. Because I would just like play music and I'd have this animation. It would just bring me alive. And I was like, this is me. This is sort of where I belong. And I was doing, kiddies parties at the age of 10. I was doing like discos for, kiddies at the age of 13. And like doing it for free, money didn't even come into it. It wasn't important at all. And then when I was 17, I got my like professional residency as a DJ, and I was like, I've made it. I literally was like, my dad was like, it's not a real job. You need to find a real job. You can't get paid to play music, and you get drunk, and at the time you could smoke as well. I mean, of course. And bearing in mind, when I was 17, you could smoke cigarettes in the club legally, but you couldn't drink legally. So it's like, it's all the things you shouldn't do, and all of a sudden you get paid to do it. Yeah. It's quite strange, really. There's not many jobs in the world, I don't think, that you get paid. No. You can have a rider, you get transported around, you get flown from A to B, you get rolled out red carpet, and it's all these people are just there like, yes, looking up at you like, you God. It's quite surreal. It's a very, very surreal job to have, but you've got to take it seriously, and you can be sucked into the other side of it, so you've got to get the balance right. But I always knew that was my beckoning, but radio just sort of came along a little bit later on, really. But I all think we need to just take a minute at these moments when you've had maybe bad results or good results and weigh it all up.
TJ, who we're going to have on the show later on, I caught up with her earlier, Korea's Wales in school, and her advice, spoiler, breathe.
Yeah.
Just breathe.
It'll be all right.
Yeah.
Be all right.
It'll be all right.
And I talk about my neighbor a lot to my friends because we all need an aide, right? He loves his job, right? What do you think he does?
I don't. What does he do?
He's a binman.
Oh, lush.
Right. Loves it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like, every day's a school day. I'm with my mates. I get up in the morning. I can pick up my daughter from school every day. I've got me time. I've got quality family time. He loves it.
Yeah.
I'm like, we all need an aide. It's like we've all got our place.
Yeah.
So, you just got to find your place.
I love that.
If you don't know where your place is.
Yeah. And just keep trying.
Yeah, 100%. Keep going and going and going. You will get there. Like, if you really, really want to do something, you will just keep doing it and you will be the best at that. And you'll get there.
Amazing. Toby, I know that there's still lots of planning and things for you to be getting on and doing at the moment.
I've just done my USA chicken takeaway. I've had my second
He's here all
supper.
night, guys.
I'm ready to go.
Amazing. Yeah, it's an exciting weekend. Feel Good Friday to get through tomorrow, and then West Carnival.
Yeah, I'm in Saundersfoot as well tomorrow.
Of course you are.
This lovely little
Hoyle and Saundersfoot.
It looks a bit posh, that. Sauna on the beach in Saundersfoot. In my bathers, I'm there.
Sign him up. Life's turned out all right, really, hasn't it?
I'll have flashbacks of me and you at the Wild Spa. That was the last time I was in my bathers on radio.
I'll have to pop down after the show.
And it's lovely to see you as well, Hayley. Oh my goodness. I miss being on this show. It's a lovely show. It just gives you a lot of perspective, I feel.
That's what I think. I think it's a really important show on the calendar. And yeah, we'll continue this conversation. Hayley's been listening tentatively to what you've been saying.
I'm sure she has. I can't wait to hear what she's going to say.
We'll unpick what's still upstairs.
Yeah, and say, you leave the room and then you can. I can't wait. I'm going to be back in a bit.
Hang on.
Enjoy the rest of your show, guys. Love you lots.
Thank you so much. Toby Ellis. Love that. Well, Hayley, you were listening in there, and we were talking about A-level results and someone that necessarily wasn't the most academic, but has still managed to forge a path and loves it.
That's the thing, isn't it? There's so much pressure on getting these results for the school. They need to get the results for the league tables and things, but I just don't think it's worth it. Like, my son's got GCSEs next week, so to be fair, there's been no stress. He didn't pick a book up, I don't think. We're just fingers crossed at the minute, winging it. But life is going to present you with opportunities, and your mindset, your perspective, your perception is all going to be more important than your results. Because even if you get the results that you want and you go to the university that you want, these days there isn't a guaranteed job in the field that you are going to train in. That's not being a Debbie Downer. I think there's, there may well be lots of possibilities, but the world has lots of different ways to get you to the same destination.
Yeah, and that's what I've learned, because I went through very much the academic route. I went through, I'm going to school, I'm going to do my GCSEs as best I can, I'm going to do my A-levels, going back to letting go, which was the feature of our first one. I wish I let go of an A-level because doing 4 was too much for me. So I didn't get what I wanted, but that academic path was something that was drilled in for me. So it was a case of, well, I've got to make the most now of this. So I went to my second choice university, and yet I've got friendships for life. It increased my confidence no end being with those people that I was with. I got to find myself, and I got to be like the louder one than I ever have been. I got to be the one that was a little bit silly. I got to be the one that came up with the jokes, and not just the one that kind of piggybacked off other people's jokes and actions. And that came from the ability to move away. So I still moved away for university. I still got to do that. And I still got those friendships. I still got those memories. And my path, a bit like Toby, I didn't know that radio was going to be part of my life. And yet here we are, just from going from footstep to footstep to footstep, or bus stop to bus stop, whatever your analogy is. And all of a sudden, yeah, there have been detours and there have been reroutes. But it's actually my perspective on life through the people that I've crossed paths with, working for a cancer charity, has made me more and more aware the more time that's gone on. And one thing that put life into perspective for me was that I did law as an A-level, and then I went to university to study law. And what we studied in 2 years at A-level, we did in 2 weeks in the degree. And it was like, there's still so much to learn, even after and beyond these results. And maybe you're just not ready for, like, maybe you're not an examining kind of person. So if you have not got what you've, the results you wanted, maybe you're more vocational, maybe you're more practical and hands-on, and you'll find that through these footsteps and through these paths that you're going through next.
Definitely. And with age comes wisdom as well. So I left school with 2 GCSEs. I had Welsh and I had science. Didn't have my English, didn't have my math. They were D's, so they weren't far off. But I ended up in college. I started A-levels. I just hated A-levels. Then I went into my second choice college because the first one wouldn't take me. And then I thought that was it for education. But then before I went into depression, I started learning sort of massage therapy, sports therapy, sports massage therapy, makeup, nails. I did all that kind of stuff. And then when I was in depression, I did my teaching. So I have a teaching qualification, my PGC. I did 4 other courses at the same time. So my learning capabilities are not what I thought they were when I left school. So I was learning as a way of coping, but I can learn anything. I can teach somebody even if I can't do it. That's what I've learned about myself. And then I did my master's. So I did my teaching in my 30s, my master's in my 40s.
Oh, wow. And that, because again, our similarities, Hayley, they're quite scary. I didn't know really how to learn when I was in school. I very much relied on my memory. And it wasn't until the 3rd year of university that I found, I actually studied with a slightly different friendship group, people that have come back from like a placement year. So they were 4th year going back to finish their degree after a year away. And I'm actually a better learner now than I was when I was in school. I didn't know how to properly learn without just relying on my memory. And I actually enjoy making the links. And I've got real life experience now of why things make sense or don't make sense. So all of a sudden there's more logic, there's more patterns to what I learn.
Do you think that's a self-knowledge thing though? Do you think that's something that you've had to learn about yourself and nobody taught you that in the past?
Self-knowledge and through delivering the ACT courses and for the cancer charity, it was me discovering that through myself, because I've always loved reading. Like growing up, I had the big Technoquest ring binders, I had the Where's Wally horrible histories. Like I loved it. I just didn't know how to apply it into the format of examinations. Talk to me about it and I will bore you to tears if you really want me to. And I've carried on that learning and going through different qualifications. And I still now, as an adult professional, you have to through CPD, continuous professional development. Otherwise, you get struck off anyway.
But you know what I've come to learn about myself is I love learning, and so over the years, when I was a child, I was quite a messy child, but I had a library of books, and they were in order. It was literally like a library. Right? So I love reading, not so much now. But I love learning now. So I will learn anything. I've taught, sort of over the years, I've taught my children how to play the piano. I can't play the piano. I've taught them how to knit. I can't knit. Because I can learn things and teach things even if I don't know how to do it.
Like, isn't that funny? Like, you're just a natural teacher. You can synthesize the information that's needed so that other people can benefit. And one of my big mantras is is allow people to exceed what they think their expectation is. And if I can bring a piece of knowledge and then help them see something and help them develop to beyond what they think their capability is, then I think that I'm doing all right. We've got hopefully Happy Natalie over on YouTube. What's your thoughts on this? I'd love to get your thoughts. And Marty's with us, and he is talking about that whole thing of learning. I agree, Tom. Learning now is much easier, and I think it's because we learn what we know is important to us, and it's of interest to us. At 16 to 18, it's kind of forced upon us, and we have no life experience. So it's those neural links again I mentioned earlier.
But the teachers, like, nobody tells you how you learn. Nobody really encourages you to do what's right for you, because education is about doing it the way that education needs you to learn, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So when you get to exams, I say this all the time, a test is a test to see how well you test. Doesn't necessarily show you how clever you are, how much knowledge you have, or even how much wisdom you have. It's just a test to see how well you test in that moment at that subject. But if you were to somebody who is really good at verbalizing and is not good at exams, if they were tested in a conversation, they would pass. They would have A stars and all the stuff that these people have who write in exams because they're good at remembering, they're good at doing tests. The results would be so completely different, and yet we allegedly teach for all learning styles, but we test for one.
Oh, say that again, sorry.
So we in school, when you're a teacher, you obviously learn how to teach for all the different learning styles.
Mm-hmm.
But we test for one learning style.
Yeah, I haven't got quite my PGCE, but I do have a Petals qualification, preparing to teach in the lifelong learning sector. And that was exactly that. Half of that course was being aware of the different types of learners in the room, because it's lifelong learning. You've got people with different backgrounds and different knowledge bases, and kinesthetic learners, for example, things that need to see things and move things. And then you've got those that are, no, I read to learn. And you've got the note takers. And then, as you've mentioned there, the exam was a written exam over an hour and a half. It's like, what about the people that like doing the spider diagrams? Like, what about those? What about those people? Like, no, they must do it in complete sentences.
Yeah, and I think, and this is something for people who are, A levels this week or college results. My daughter had the results from college today, or GCSEs next week. These are not going to define you as long as you don't let them. And I think there is a big thing because of the way that schools are with the GCSEs and the pressure they put on the A levels. You can easily come to think or believe that they define you. They actually don't. Who would say now? I left school with 2 GCSEs. If I saw any teachers from school now and said I had a master's degree, they would be shocked. They would be absolutely surprised. Because I only did my master's because I wanted to see if I could learn at that level. But that was in my 40s. So, and in between leaving school, I've left school 33 years ago. So in between leaving school and now, I've learned so much more about anything and everything. And I specialize now in that mental health field. Yeah. And who would have said that 33 years ago?
Who would have said that? And I suppose that's my message to those picking up their A levels or their GCSEs next week is your life has been spent typically within the 4 walls of the same institution, sometimes the same class, depending on the size of your school, the same teachers, that same routine. And it's not necessarily that you're mourning the results. It's the fact that your life is about to considerably change, and what your whole life is built up to has been that piece of paper today. But like what Hayley just said, don't let them define you. Whether it's good or bad, don't let that define you, because there's still so much more experiences to be had. If you were to live your life again, you're still only going to be in your mid-30s. Right? You won't even be 40. If you live that whole life again, from being bottle fed all the way up to the moment that you are now, if you double your life, you're still not even 40.
And I urge people who have maybe learned to drive to take that as an analogy, because when you learn to drive with an instructor to pass your test, you do not learn to drive until you get on the road and drive yourself. And when you're on your own, using your own eyesight, your own hearing, your own instincts, that's when you learn. And this is exactly the same. Life is exactly the same. You've learned what you needed to learn to get you through education. Now real life happens. And for me, A levels aside and results aside, I wish we did more on the life skills side of it, not testing in it, but I wish we would teach children what a healthy relationship is, because there's things like that now we shake them off from our A-levels, go and do life.
Yeah.
And that might be university, that might be going to work, but nobody's teaching them about themselves. As we've just said now, in our 30s, 40s and 50s, we've learned these things about ourselves. We're expecting them to do the same. And yet, if we gave them the benefit of our wisdom, maybe they would have better life skills as well.
Yeah. Let us know if any of this is resonating with you. Maybe you've got nieces, nephews, your own children. Maybe you're listening to this and you picked up your results. Well done. The fact that you're even picking up results is a testament to the fact that you've stuck out of school for this long. You've gone through that, you've done it, and there's still so much more of life to be lived and more things to be experienced, more things to experience and hold on to, but not too close. And if you do have an issue with letting things go, listen back to the first section of the show.
Yes. Yeah, maybe we should have done it the other way around. We should have started with the A-levels and gone to letting go.
And then letting go. Don't hold on to these results too tightly, because there's still so much more to experience. The school of life is the most wonderful school, and we get to live it and breathe it every single day. We've got more interviews from the results day, Hayley, that we're going to play out from Haverfordwest High from earlier on today, and then we're going to be talking about hobbies and play. And don't forget to look after your soul during the next chapter of your life and actually taking part in those hobbies. And you'll hear when I caught up with Lily, Finn, and Harry, one of the questions I asked them, that they're some of the pupils from Haverfordwest High that are going to Oxford and Cambridge, is I asked them, what hobbies are you going to still keep up? Because that's so important to find that balance and to maintain that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's let's hope that whatever results you've had today, that you can feel proud for doing it. And whatever's happened, failure isn't what we think it is. Failure is an opportunity to learn. And if you take that forward with you, failures, mistakes, they are just opportunities to learn. So let's hope they're all going away with that. And even if you succeeded today with your results, at some point, failures go to come. It always does. And we get to learn from it. And that, to me, is quite precious, I think.
I think so. We learn a lot more from our failures, from our successes, and it just makes the successes even more sweet when we finally get them. We're going to hear from Mrs. Harris, the outgoing head teacher from Haverfordwest High. We're going to hear from First Minister Eluned Morgan. She was in the corridors congratulating A-level receivers today, and we even gave Sapphire, someone who picked up their results today. She wants to do an apprenticeship in journalism. She interviewed the First Minister. It's not a bad one to tick off your list early doors, is it? In the corridors of when you picked up your results. We're going to hear from Lily, Finn, and Harry and TJ to talk about Careers Wales and how they can support you. And not just A-levels, but GCSEs. They help all through life if you're looking for a change in career that we talked about earlier as well. And also hobbies. And carving out that time to have that time by yourself, whether it's playing the piano, whether it's knitting, as Hayley's been teaching others to do. And Hayley, I can't go actually without saying that we had two members of Merched y Môr on the breakfast show this week. It's 4 months till they go on their transatlantic world's toughest row. And they actually gave all the people that have helped them get to this stage so far a big shout out on the breakfast show. And your name was in that big list of thank yous of them getting there. They're very grateful for the perspective and what you've been giving them over the last kind of 12, 18 months in the lead up to their row.
That's been amazing supporting them. I'm so excited to see what they do and how they do it, because I think they're in my generation, in my age, and they're doing that amazing challenge. I'm really excited for them.
Yeah, if you missed that interview, you can listen back. It was Denise and Liz that were on the call with us it was on the 12th, 2 days ago. Gratitude Tuesday, that's right. And they were grateful for everyone that supported them, including our very own Hayley G. Wheeler on Healthy Minds, Better Lives. We'll be back on September the 11th. And we should have Steve joining us. Steve is an empathetic leadership coach. He thinks that there's another way of leading people. It doesn't have to necessarily be in that old school, I'm right, you're wrong, looking down on everyone. There's a better way of doing it. He's done a lot of work and workshops in and around prisons. And he wants to share his knowledge with us. He's got a workshop in Carmarthen on the 20th of August, which you can find details on websites like For the Region, and we get to reflect on that workshop with him in September, which I'm very excited about.
Amazing. I look forward to that.
Yeah, and of course, it's a new academic year, as he says when we're talking about the end of one. September often means new beginnings for a lot of people. So no doubt we'll touch on that as we head into autumn, and what does it mean when the kids go back to school and the weather goes back to average? What does it mean for us, and what we want to do before the end of the year and then the calendar year starts?
Oh, Christmas talk will start soon. It's already on my TikTok. Christmas.
It's on mine too.
Ah,
I know. No escaping it. No escaping it. We're going to leave you with these wonderful interviews that were collected earlier on today from A-levels, those picking them up, those that have supported the pupils throughout, and those that are going to continue supporting you, and that hobby interview with Hobbycraft with Tammy. Thank you so much for your time. To anyone that sent us messages, said Natalie, to Marty. I know that Collie's been watching, Helen Marie's been watching us this evening. And if you know someone that might be a little bit disheartened with their results, just give them a little fist bump and say, you got this. There's still a whole lot more to learn, and it won't be in the classroom. It'll be every single day. Embrace the moments and take them along with you. Hayley, as ever, thank you so much for your time on Healthy Minds, Better Lives. We'll do it again next month, shall we?
Yes, we shall. And the month after, and the month after.
We will be here second Thursday of every month, and you'll have me back on the radio tomorrow morning with Gina, with your breakfast show of Folly Farm, for Feel Good Friday with SM Bespoke Care. The playlist will be yours. Can't wait to hear what soundtrack you've got for us. Thanks so much, Hayley.
Bye.
From the heart of Pembrokeshire, on your smart speaker.